in time to take you from one big event to another. Last weekend we saw Wigan cruising through to the Challenge Cup final once again. This afternoon, live from Elland Road, Leeds, it's the second semi-final. Leeds against Featherstone Rovers for the dubious honour of facing mighty Wigan at Wembley on April the 29th. Live coverage of the whole game coming up. Commentators Joe Lydon, Steve Sims and Ray French.
Our eighth visit to Elland Road for a semi-final. And a brave performance last week, and 4 tries from Oldham still couldn't halt Wigan's march to an 8th successive Wembley. Fans of both sides haven't had too far to travel. Featherstone fans in abundance, plenty of Leeds as we might expect. But Richard Duckingfield has already spoken to the two camps, and David Ward, the Featherstone boss, assures us there will be plenty of tries.
I think it'll be a high-scoring game, 30 to 20 in that region. I think the game will go right down to the last quarter, really.
They've won 9 out of 10 games, and obviously they've got their act together now, but we're very confident.
We might need it, we might want it a little bit more than Leeds.
All we've got in our minds is getting to Wembley in the first place. Once we've got that over with, then we'll settle with another stride.
Two confident lads. Leeds are at full strength for the first time for weeks. Half-backs Gary Schofield and Graham Holroyd return after injury, and Harvey Howard, following a dead leg, resumes at prop forward. But in that Featherstone side, there are enough former Leeds players, Carl Gibson, Ikram Butt, Darren Hughes and Steve Malloy, to add an extra spice to this match. Pitch in perfect condition, sun shining. Steve Malloy, the former Leeds forward and Featherstone Rovers skipper, in the maroon and white jerseys. And Ellery Hanley, he's been in this situation many times. 34 years of age last week, but still a very, very dangerous player. This star-studded Leeds side, a mixture of local players and many big boys, and David Campbell from Widnes, in charge of last year's Wembley. One of our best referees. No real wind advantage, I think, Joe, to either side. It's tending to swirl around.
It tends to happen at this stadium. There is a wind when you're still outside the ground, but once you get in the stadium, on the pitch especially, it does tend to swirl around at a low level.
And Steve, we couldn't have better playing conditions, could we, for two sides who like open play?
They do. It's as David Ward said, this could be a high-scoring game because the pitch out there is in great shape.
And it's Leeds in the usual strip, blue and amber, and Gary Mercer leading the charge. Young Cummins, the wingman, and Harvey Howard, a powerful forward with that extra yard of pace. He was once a winger in his early days. Assini Faimalo. One aspect about this Leeds side is the pace all round, Joe.
Yes, they have it in the back line and as well as the forwards. It's going to be very interesting whether Featherstone can contain that pace, especially in the early quarter.
Holroyd. And Featherstone Rovers' first touch of them all there, Darren Hughes, a former Leeds player. Ikram Butt, another ex-Leeds player. Featherstone, 3 times Challenge Cup winners, but that last appearance 12 years ago in 1983. But they started well. Brendan Tuuta, the Kiwi standoff. And a penalty already for interference by James Lowes at the play the ball.
You see here, he's got him for a high for offside actually, but you just notice in the back play there that Richie Ayres is struggling with a knock on his knee.
Richie Ayres, Steve Malloy. Featherstone renowned for packs of forwards in the past. Players like Malcolm Dixon, Jimmy Thompson have often led the charge in the Rovers' colours, and this is a good 6. Aston, Tuuta, short pass there to Gary Price. Gary H. Price as he's known, because of course they also have a Gary S. Price, not playing today. Leeds, in fact, were practising their defence not half an hour ago. Short pass, intercepted by Gary Schofield. Now then, has he got the pace to go all the way? I think he is. Carl Gibson's leading the race for him, but Gary Schofield with a sensational try at the corner. And at 29 years of age, he was puffing and panting, but still had the legs to make it all the way. Sensational start from the Great Britain international. I christened him the poacher in his early days. He's still doing it.
I don't think Gary Schofield will be able to do tomorrow's London Marathon, but 100-yard sprint here down the pitch, certainly well in his capabilities. How many times we've seen Gary Schofield intercept on his own line, reads the play so well, and goes the full length for the first try of the match.
Gary Schofield is striding down the pitch there. Featherstone were too flat in attack there. You've got to stand a lot deeper when you're close to the opposition's try line. Stand deep, run onto the ball. They were too flat. Gary Schofield's intercepted the ball and scored a try.
Well, an old friend of mine said never intercept within 10 yards of your own line when advancing years were coming on, but it doesn't matter to Gary Schofield. Doesn't he really race away there? Good try. And Graham Holroyd with a difficult kick right out on this touchline. But he certainly has come of age, this Leeds teenager, in the past 12 months. And is a very good goal kicker. Holroyd strikes it well, but just not got that accuracy. Across the face of the post, a difficult kick for the youngster, a nervous time. But Leeds 4-0 in the lead.
This must have been really heartbreaking for Featherstone. The start was all important for both teams. Featherstone, to be honest, had a great possession for 12 tackles almost. A bit of a loose pass, and Gary Schofield, you can't give him chances like that.
Leeds, I'm sure, will just hold this sequence of 6. Gary Mercer, the Kiwi from the Bay of Plenty out there in New Zealand, and another former Kiwi test star, Essini Faimalo, number 10. Lows to Harvey Howard.
Steve Malloy has a really big job now in the Featherstone pack. Also as captain, he really has to regather his troops now, get their minds right, and try and regroup and re-attack.
Oh, and that's good play by James Lowes. He's got Hanley inside him, but Hanley had overrun him. He couldn't pass that ball. It would have been a forward pass, and Lowes held it well. But Daniel Dive, picking up the pass there from Leeds' James Fallon. And Featherstone will want to settle things down here as Ikram Butt helps his forwards, comes away, very strong player, represented England this season. Gary Price doing a job out wide. Aston, Leo Casey. Well, the pass was well intended, picked up nicely. Brendan Tawuta, he's got support inside him. Matt Calland. That's a nice inside pass. Dive on the 5th tackle. Featherstone swinging it across. Tawuta, he's got plenty of support out wide here. Price. Oh, he's got support out there, and he's in at the corner. Ikram Butt, the former Leeds player, strikes against his own club. And Featherstone back on level terms. We were saying that Steve Malloy had to really get a grip of the side very, very quickly, and no better grip than this.
The perfect reply from Featherstone. Brendan Tawuta drifts across the field, puts the long ball out. Ikram Butt's waiting wide on the wing. A good long ball, just gets into the corner. The perfect reply.
Yeah, it was a good ball from Brendan Tudor. Gary H-Price hanging out wide there. A good long ball to Ikram Butt, and he's very strong, Ikram Butt, for a good touchdown.
Mark Aston with the kick, using a tee, no sand for the Featherstone Rovers scrum half. One or two of the league players beginning to use these tees now, but again, similar type of kick to Leeds' Graham Holroyd across the face of the post. So, all square, 4 apiece. And David Ward promises plenty of tries, Steve.
I was just going to say that. You can see here Gary H-Price, a good long ball out to Ikram Butt, and he done a lot of good work there, Ikram Butt. But I think David Ward was right. It looks like defence isn't going to be the key to today's game.
And I think one of the problems for Leeds there was that Cummins had been pulled inside.
It has. You have to, when you're defending, especially close to your line, you have to have the outside men outside the attacking team.
Featherstone, renowned cup fighters. Definitely the underdogs here this afternoon, but they've always had a fancy in the past to upset cup giants like Leeds. Daniel Dive, French test player, played with Carcassonne and Limoux. Southernwood to Malloy. Southernwood again using this blind side with Mark Aston. Well picked up by Alan Tate. But good cover. Good cover. Brett Roger there for Featherstone Rovers coming in. Cummins coming in midfield. Mercer. I don't think Leeds will necessarily, Steve, want to tangle in the forwards with Featherstone, will they? They'll surely want to use this three-quarter line.
They will do. When you've got men like Kevin Iro and Craig Innes out wide, they're the men that are going to win, to score the tries and win you the game.
Hilary Hanley making a good break down the side there, still retaining his power. Holroyd doing well to slice that ball between Darren Hughes and Carl Gibson.
Thinking about the contest pre-match, Ray, I was under the impression that Featherstone would try and outmuscle Leeds early on, but to be honest, they've played some very, very smart, sensible football.
Well, they do have a very strong tradition, Joe, don't they, of good half-backs, people like Derek Fox, Steve Nash, and you know, there's not many better half-back combinations than these two, Aston and Tuuta. And here is Mark Aston and Tuuta trying to open out play there, back to Ikram Butt. Obviously using this right wing, he's a very powerful lad, good runner. Price.
Got a very strong opening, Gary H-Price.
Good run there from the acting half-back position by Southernwood. Aston trying the high kick. Oh, that's a dangerous hanging ball. Callan's underneath it. Oh, superb effort. Matt Callan underneath it. It was hanging in the air. That was obviously worked out in the training in midweek. 8 points to 4 for Featherstone Rovers. Perfect timing. And didn't Callan time his run there? 11 tries this season. He's been suspended for 5 matches. What a return.
The planned high ball from Mark Aston, a great kick. Now watch Hilary Hanley. I'm not sure if he just loses this with that wind. And there's Callan to catch it, perfect position, and score the try.
Yes, it's a great kick here. Put it up in perfect position. Land swirling around from the goalpost, moving away from them. Ellery Hanley's under at 1 minute. It swirls away. Matt Callan underneath, and just an easiest of tries in the end.
We mentioned last week when we were at the McAlpine Stadium at Huddersfield of the wind swirling around in these modern stadiums, and I think that was a good example. Certainly very, very difficult for a full-back to take, Joe.
Yes, it was Ellery Hanley that actually was underneath the ball, and as you say, once you put the height on and the wind can affect it, Ellery lost complete sight of it and control of it, and Callum was on hand to take the try.
But Alan Tate was coming across and he never got there, did he? Well, nevertheless, good play from Featherstone Rovers, and Mark Aston seeking to increase that lead. And he doesn't. Now then, that could be a bad miss. 8 points to 4 for Featherstone Rovers, but really, those are the sort of goals you need to put over.
This is the replay again. Great kick from Mark Aston. Pinpoint accuracy, dropping on the line, and a great try.
Matt Callan, former Rochdale Hornets player. To Carl Gibson. Last season's Featherstone Rovers Player of the Year, and again, one of the lads we mentioned who has seen glory in the Leeds colours. Malloy. And Richard down there on the bench, any information for us?
Yes, Ray, obviously Featherstone are happy with this, but just after that try was scored, the Featherstone try, they signed that feelings are running rather high. Daniel Deve and Ellery Hanley had a difference of opinion. They were both spoken to by the referee.
Aston again using that trusty boot, putting it down to the corner. That's a good kick, puts the pressure on Alan Tate, but a good chase from Featherstone Rovers. Not only do you need a good kick, you need good chasers, and Rovers have defenders there in abundance. They're certainly pinning Leeds down in this 20-metre area, Joe.
They're playing the right tactics. They're driving the ball very, very hard. They're tackling very well, and Mark Aston so far has had the perfect kicking game.
Richie Ayres trying to get this Leeds momentum going, and there is exactly what we were saying, the territorial advantage to Featherstone, but here is Jim Fallon. Fallon himself going for the line. Oh, the dummy from the big man, the former Bath Rugby Union player. Confidence there from Fallon. That sudden break out wide, and we've said that Leeds had the pace when the ball goes out there, and they struck there in tremendous fashion. Jim Fallon having his best season since he came into rugby league.
Well, if the kick from Mark Aston was planned, this move on the blind side certainly was. The narrow side of the play, the ball. Kevin Iro, the little pass to Fallon. Strength and pace. Dummies a pass inside and then decides to go on his own, round Gibson, and improve the angle for the kick by going underneath the post.
It's a great run by Iro there, but it was bad play from Featherstone. The winger Darren Hughes was infield marking. The left side centre wasn't in place. They had no defenders in front of them, Leeds, and Fallon scores an easiest of tries.
Graham Holroyd with the kick, which should be a simple conversion, and it is. So Leeds once again back in the lead. 10 points to 8. And I think we can see here when Fallon, he gets this ball, he's certainly got the confidence for the dummy, and then again the confidence behind the line. He's going to take on Mark Aston, and he's looking for 6 points, not just 4. Good try.
High scoring game was a prediction, and that's exactly what we've had so far.
I think one of the aspects about modern rugby league though now, Joe, is that with this huge gap that referees are putting between the sides, we are scoring a lot more points.
Well, that's the intention. I'm sure the rugby league authorities looked at that, opted for a more open game.
And there we could see Gary Mercer just lost the ball. He never played it correctly. And the penalty awarded by the referee to Mark Aston. Mark Aston took some time to settle down when he arrived at Featherstone Rovers from Sheffield Eagles, but certainly in the last 7 or 8 matches been hitting his top form. So Mark Aston steadied that ball on the tee. Has he steadied himself? Yes, he has. The fans in those Featherstone colours, and with that dyed leap in the air, it tells us that Featherstone are back level again.
You're seeing them play the ball here. Gary Mercer gets up now. He loses the ball. He's penalised him for playing it wrong, but it should have been a scrum there, Featherstone's feed, because he lost it as he was getting up to play it.
Dive has also seen service with Hull a couple of years ago. Leo Casey, experienced prop forward. Sutherwood and Featherstone Rovers using these forwards very well, just checking it away at the first receiver, gaining ground, pushing Leeds back towards their own line. Chuta to Roger. Just couldn't get his pass away.
I think they took the wrong option there running the ball. As the last tackle, they need to put a bit of pressure on Leeds. They should have just had a little kick into the in-goal area or found touch near their goal line.
Not much between the two packs. Leeds, of course, second in Division 1. Featherstone 10th in Division 1. But on Cup Day, league form hardly counts. Mercer, Gary Mercer's taking this ball up quite a lot from the first receiver, Joe.
He has the pace. You mentioned earlier that the 10-yard rule, the new 10 metres in between the teams. When you have a forward with the pace of Mercer, he can exploit that to the full.
James Lowe, good play. Both of these hookers, Lowe and Sutherwood, making good ground from the acting half-back position. Henry Hanley. Well, that looked like a high tackle from Leo Casey on Hanley. Any tackle above the shoulders, whether deliberate or accidental, is to be penalised. I think Mr. Casey knows, certainly the referee David Campbell knows. Casey agrees.
You see, that's high, it's around his neck area, around the head area, and Leo Casey deserves to be penalised for that.
Yeah, you've got to police Ellery Hanley very, very closely, but that was a penalty.
You're just seeing the defensive part of this game. Leeds on their right-hand side keep attacking Featherstone's left-hand side, and Lowe's especially has made a couple of breaks on that side. They have to tighten up their defence in that area of the field.
Certainly this tackle, we can see no hesitation whatsoever. Henry Hanley taking quite a knock there. Thankfully, he looks a little dazed, but he's back to his feet. I don't think he'll want to leave the field unless he really has to. And Holroyd then with the chance to put Leeds in the lead. He's had problems with his right shoulder this last couple of weeks. Hanley just getting his senses back. As I was saying, Holroyd missed a couple of matches. Just inside the 20-metre line, to the right of the post. No problems. So, a further 2 points for this talented teenager. Holroyd and Leeds back in the lead. And there's the man who was responsible for giving them that lead, Leo Casey.
Ray, Featherstone have been kicking on their right-hand side, their deep kicks. I tend to think that you're probably better off kicking to the left-hand side against Leeds, because Gary Mercer's so strong and he likes to run from his left-hand side to his right-hand side when he's running the ball.
Speaking about kicking, that was a big mistake from Featherstone. The restart going dead, resulting in a penalty to Leeds on the halfway line.
It certainly was, because that will surely put Leeds on the attack with Harvey Howard. Famalo, Leeds attacking down this backside. Oh, a powerful run by Famalo. He's through Gibson, but that was a good tackle by Malloy. Just 5 metres from this Featherstone line. Holroyd, Schofield, he's got a man outside there. Tate's going himself. It's just held up there, a yard short. And he must have put a foot in touch. Mr. Campbell giving the scrum.
This is a great tackle from Matt Callan here, covering across, takes Alan Tate around the legs, looks like he's going to score, uses his Alan Tate's momentum to drag him into touch.
Just that kneecap sliding under the line.
That's all it needs.
And the touch judge, Mr. Brown, obviously spotted something. He's having a word with David Campbell. And I think we're coming right back. And it looks to me as if it's going to be a penalty against Leeds, is it, Joe?
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened. It's obviously very, very far back in back play.
But before Famalo made his break, to play the ball there looked like that there was a kick to the head by a Featherstone player, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, it's pretty clear now what it is. It's an on report. Steve Malloy is being adjudged to have kicked out in a tackle. I think I spotted it a little earlier. The referee, Mr. Campbell, was not very sure. Mr. Brown, the touch judge, was sure. And so what will happen, the video evidence will be studied next week by Greg McCallum, the controller of referees. And whether or not he appears before the disciplinary committee will depend on Mr. McCallum. And here I think we see it, Joe.
Here's the tackle then. Steve Malloy was involved and he did catch his head, whether intentionally I'm not sure.
Ellery Hanley driving in and getting nearer to that Featherstone line. Passions rising now. Holroyd looking for support, having a go himself. Possibly would have been advised to move that ball out wide there. But Leeds on the attack. Lowe's, good dummy. Hanley, Schofield. I think he was looking for the drop goal, but that was a charge down, surely. Play on. You can charge the ball down. Mark Aston did that. Sutherwood. Nice switch of play from Sutherwood to Dive. Leeds really didn't take the best advantage of that sequence of 6.
No, on 2 occasions then in that sequence of 6 they took the wrong option. They should have had the ball fast passed along the line left and instead went right to where the Featherstone cover was.
Featherstone coach David Ward is clearly concerned about the defence on their left-hand side. He's warned his players that's where they've got to watch out. That's where Gary Merce has made a couple of very dangerous raking runs, so he's concerned about defence on Featherstone's left-hand side.
Carl Gibson. On the 5th tackle. Featherstone Rovers elected to run it to Aston. He got that ball away well. But Brendan Tuuta had to scoop the ball off the floor. He couldn't get into movement. So, Leeds breathe again. Jim Fallon. He's big enough to do the job of a forward, clearing the line. And here's another centre big enough, 16-stone man, Iro. Innes. It's not too bad when you can have 3 men in a 3/4 line as big as Innes, Iro and Fallon to bring the ball 40 yards.
No, with pace and power they're very, very useful, especially off your own line.
Gary Schofield with a long punishing kick there. That's a good kick. Excellent kick by Gary Schofield, left, of course, by Featherstone Rovers full-back Carl Gibson. Rovers will have the...
You see Gary Schofield, a pass master of this kicking game, and that's where you want to put the ball, over the touchline, close to the opposition's goal line.
Tuta, a strong lad. He's had quite a lot of experience at loose forward. Give likes to run. Aston. Leeds moving up very, very quickly around this play the ball area. Malloy, well supported by Ikram Butt. The wingman coming in well there to support the forwards. Oh, he shrugs off a couple of tackles.
Ikram Butt showed his strength, and there is a remarkable strength for his size, able to shrug players off at will in the tackle.
Aston. Well, the kick, I think, was intended for Ikram Butt, but he hadn't got back on the wing. He was still in midfield, having a breather. So it'll be a tap on that 20-metre line for Leeds, James Lowes. Leeds still in the lead, just clinging to that 2 points, 12 points to 10.
And there's concern on the Leeds bench about Richie Ayres. He's got a damaged left instep. They're watching him very closely, and the doctor will certainly be having a look at that at half-time. Richie Ayres, damaged left instep.
Well, Richie Ayres normally injects plenty of pace into this Leeds pack. They not want him to stay in the dressing room. Ellery Hanley spotting a weakness perhaps down that blind side, but was looking for support. Holroyd, there is Richie Ayres. Nothing wrong there. On the 5th tackle, Gary Schofield again keeping Featherstone Rovers in trouble down in this corner. Oh, and that's good play. It was a good kick initially, but good cover, good tackling by Cummins and Craig Innes. Kept Butt behind the line. Drop out beneath the post.
Great kick by Schofield. Ikram Butt had it covered, but I think he was hoping the ball would run dead. Instead, he had to feel the ball. He's in his own goal area.
Comes a crucial part of the game now. The last 10 minutes, it's always a period where there is some tries scored.
Mercer.
Steve, I'm sure you'll agree, it's been a frantic start by both teams. Apart from the 2 penalties for the kicks, probably the only 2 breaks in the game.
It's been an unbelievable game, especially Featherstone, who are prepared to try to offload the ball and keep the ball alive.
Holroyd, good run by Holroyd, but a good tackle. And Neil Harmon coming on for Harvey Howard. I think just a tactical switch, but it's Leeds piling the pressure on now. Significantly pushing the ball out wide to the wings. Holroyd, Schofield, back inside to Paimalo. Paimalo eager to get that ball back into play. Schofield again, first receiver looking for the drop goal. Charged down again, but play on. Neil Harmon with his first touch and crashing to that line. Ellery Hanley going for the try. And Ellery Hanley, he's in for another try. He spotted the gap around that play the ball area. No one could stop him. The sheer strength of the man. 39 tries this season, and now just 1 try away from equaling the 40-try record for the forward.
I sometimes wonder whether it's worth trying to charge down the 1 point there. Featherstone avoided getting a point scored against him with a drop goal, but Ellery Hanley from the acting half-back position powers his way over the line for 4 points, surely to be made 6 by the kick.
You see Ellery Hanley, the markers are on the ground, he just goes over, it's an easy try.
And it was the speed of the play the ball, I think, that really caught Featherstone out, Steve.
It was the speed of the play the ball, and they were caught out anyway, Featherstone. They were struggling, they held them for the 6 tackles, the charge down. The charge down, and they've had to tackle for another 6, but it only took 2 plays, and Leeds were over.
And Graham Holroyd converting that try, taking Leeds out to 18 points then, but here we see Hanley very, very quickly. He knows where he's going. No hope of Mark Aston stopping him. And it's a try right from the time he picks that ball up. Notice how he keeps his body down. Dives in.
Harvey Howard on the Leeds bench. Harvey, it's looking as though it's just shading Leeds' way now.
Yeah, that's right. We've just had a bit of luck run our way, and we've turned the pressure into points. It's a little bit warm out there, the weather, you know, there's a cloud over both, but like you said, it's the sun rays are coming through and it's really warm.
Not finished yet?
No, it's not finished by a long way.
Thanks, Harvey.
Gary Schofield beginning to direct operations in the middle. There he is again. Back to Lowe's. James Laws, of course, knows this pitch very, very well. Used to play here as a scrum half with Hunslet. Alan Tate. Well picked up by Hughes.
Once again, Ray, you'll find that Featherstone was short again on that left-hand side.
Carl Gibson trying to force his way through, a former Great Britain tourist. Gary Price likes to run down this right-hand side, former Wakefield Trinity player. Oh! Well, Leo Casey's not very pleased, is he? He was standing there in all sympathy with the big prop forward. I don't think really the ball should have gone to him. But the lesson is, you must always be alert in rugby league. And not the best of friends at the moment, Mr. Aston and Mr. Casey.
I don't think they are, but he definitely should have been aware and caught that ball.
Iro proving difficult to put down. Cummins. And just one handling error by Featherstone. That just says something about the quality of the rugby on show.
It is quite
5 minutes remaining.
Quite remarkable, but it's the last 10 minutes, as Steve said, in this half. There's been a couple of points scored, and it's when people relax and start to lose concentration.
Richards looks to be in pain. Yes, he's going down. But good running of the angles by these forwards, but certainly the doctor would have to have a look at him at half-time. Alan Tate almost taking Featherstone by surprise. The ball bobbing about, bouncing about. Well, it can't be a play on. Certainly a lot of discomfort there for Richie Ayres, but it's the handover. Mr. Campbell are judging a knock-on. And a knock-on that fifth tackle, the handover to the opposition. Rovers back in possession. Rovers once again using this powerful wingman foot to bring the ball away. Casey. The knock on.
You just see here, Leo Casey, he's run with the ball. Just a little knock-on, as David Campbell indicated, a little knock-on. But the last part of this game, they're starting to get tired now, the Featherstone forwards.
Set move there from Leeds, bringing the play back down to this blind side, back to the pack that was breaking up. Mercer keeps coming all the time, shrubs off a couple, he's got Lowe's with him. Lowe's, he's got to Porth outside, by Marlow, he's got Alan Tate, Jim Fallon's in at the corner. Fallon in at the corner for his second try. The big man from Bath over again, but superb running and handling from Marlow and Tate created the gaps in midfield, and that extra pace out wide was the difference.
Yes, the ball played the ball at pace. Strong running from Mercer. Laws looks right, finds the weak again on that Featherstone left-hand side. Alan Tate delays the pass and Fallon scores in the corner.
It's good play here from Alan Tate. Draws the defence into him. Jim Fallon scores a try.
It was very good play from Leeds, almost clinical. I noticed when Leo Casey made the mistake and knocked the ball on, Gary Schofield is so professional. He was already organising the back line, knew exactly what the move was going to be, and then they followed that up with a try.
And I think that tells the tale, Steve, doesn't it? 63% possession for Leeds.
It's a lot of possession to have in 40 minutes of rugby league, and you're entitled to be in front if you have that much possession.
Graham Holroyd. Not the easiest of kicks. He fights it. Oh, it's held up by the wind. Just dropping short of that crossbar. But Leeds comfortably in the lead here now. 22 points to 10. And Featherstone really have to haul themselves back in here. But Lowe's, just look at the pass from this prop forward. Perfectly judged. And Tate, of course, he's got the pace to put Featherstone on the back foot.
It looks like now they've put Brendan Tudor on their left-hand side in defence because they have been very shabby on that side.
And Richie Ayres has been taken straight inside to the medical room by the Leeds doctor to have a look at that left instep. He made it quite clear that it was impossible for him to continue.
By Marlowe. And Marcus Vasilakopoulos, another one of the youngsters in the Leeds camp, making his way in the game. One aspect that Coach Doug Lawton really has attended to at Headingley in recent seasons is the nursery. He's got others like Paul Cook on the sidelines waiting their turn. Harmon, twice a loser at Wembley against Wigan. I know he's desperate for a return and another crack at Wigan. A high ball, a tester. And I think Featherstone Rovers sensibly electing not to go for the ball because, of course, once again, they should receive it from the scrum.
I disagree with you, Ray. That ball could have bounced anywhere. If it had bounced back to a Leeds player, that left-hand side of the Featherstone defence was wide open again.
The closest man to it was Kevin Irail.
Now Stan Toldoff. Roger. Oh, well tackled by Kevin Iro. Carl Gibson. Gary Price. And a penalty against Leeds there. Mr. Campbell insisting that a Leeds player ripped the ball out. And we think it's a scenic by Marlowe. Well spotted there by Mr. Campbell. But Featherstone, really, they've got to start moving this ball around. They've clamped up in this last 10 minutes, Joe. It's one-man forward play at the moment.
It's the experience of Mark Aston that's needed now. He has to get the players together and have a final fling and attack in this half to try and score a try.
Their forwards are very tired though. Leo Casey, he's had a good 40 minutes, but the last 10 minutes he's got tired, and so has Daniel Dubé.
Featherstone fans getting behind their side then. A try would do them good in this half. Steve Malloy in that Leeds 20-metre area for the first time for some considerable minutes. Now then they're taking our advice. Roger, he's got Ikram Butt outside him. He's looking for Butt to come inside. He does. Shrugs off a shoulder tackle by Craig Innes into injury time. Nice slip pass back to Butt. Certainly having a problem holding this former Leeds lad here on the fifth tackle. Mark Aston. Oh, picked up comfortably by Graham Holroyd, and this could be very, very dangerous. Well, he ran out to support.
He's got too far with the ball, Graham Holroyd. He had two chances to offload inside, one to Irail, one to Mercer. He should have offloaded to the angle runner coming back in.
Mercer just encouraging Holroyd to get on with the game.
A very important factor in this half is the way that Leeds have spelled the forwards. He obviously told Harvey Howard, instructed him before the game to give his best for 20 minutes. He bulldozed his way through the Featherstone forwards, and then they replaced him. And it's been obviously a well-worked plan.
Faimalo enjoying himself out there. Plenty of running in this former Kiwi Test player. And another man, Mercer. James Lowes back to Schofield. Innes. Fallon losing the ball. Back to Mark Aston. But the forwards not following Aston here. It wants Aston driving forward and the forwards coming off him with the little slip passes. Leeds soaking up this one-man rugby. This is better from Featherstone now. Roebuck, that's the sort of pass that's wanted, and it's Callan again driving in. That's good play from Featherstone Rovers on the 5th tackle. Aston, he's got Carl Gibson inside. Oh, scramble away from Alan Tate. Vasilakopoulos and Brendan Tuuta colliding there in the advertising boards. No damage, thankfully, but a dropout underneath the post.
You see here, Carl Gibson, he's run straight into for Milo, and Leeds have made the ball go dead. Straight from the kick.
Yes, and the story of the first half there, Joe, I think those handling errors testimony to the skills of these players.
Yeah, both teams played very, very well for the first 20, 30 minutes of the game, but the crucial period was in the last 10, 15 minutes where mistakes were made by Featherstone and Leeds capitalised on them.
Steve, how do you see Featherstone's game now in this second half? What have they got to do?
They certainly have to score next to get themselves back in the game. They're a chance of putting their heads down if Leeds do score, but they have to tighten up their defence, especially on their left-hand side of the field, and stop Leeds running on the short side there.
Well, always plenty of spirit in the Featherstone Rovers camp. I've seen them behind once or twice and shock one or two giants of the game. Southernwood back to Mark Ashton. Sends Alan Tate back towards his own line. And a good touch kick there from Ashton.
That's one of the ingredients that Featherstone need is Ashton's kicking game to be spot on for this second half, and that was a lovely start for him. Put it right into the corner, and now it'll be a scrum down.
Leeds have 2 league wins over Rovers, 36-14 and 30-28. Plenty of points there and plenty of points here this afternoon. 23-10 at the moment then for Leeds. Kevin Iro. Oh, doing very well there with Craig Innes. He's got the wingman outside him, he's got Iro inside. Kevin Iro going for that corner. Oh, that's a magnificent effort. Combination there between the Kiwis, Innes and Iro having the pace and the power to get to the corner, but they're not giving the try.
I don't know what the reason is there, but he's ruled something there. Looked fair try to start off with.
And I think Kevin Iro is as amazed as we are, Joe.
Well, I'm quite shocked. From the scrum at one end of the field, what I thought was a perfect try has been disallowed, and Featherstone get the restart on the 22 metres.
But it's Featherstone Rovers coming away with the ball. Perhaps we can take a look at this again. Here is Kevin Iro. He's coming in, and that's why it's disallowed. He lost it. Knock on. Good decision.
Was a good decision. He deserved to lose the ball away. He was carrying it.
Perhaps you could explain, Steve.
Well, you should carry the ball in 2 hands. If it's not tucked under your arms, you should have 2 hands on the ball at all times.
Here's Ellery Hanley again. Oh, the crunching tackle there. Steve Malloy piling into Hanley. Mercer trying to use Jim Fallon as a foil. He does do so, but he doesn't gain many more yards. Lowes, Fallon outside him. Sensibly holds on, didn't want Jim Fallon to be pushed into touch. James Lowes cuts through the gap. Just can't quite get that ball away to Hanley, but it's Leeds on the attack once again. Schofield driving at the heart of the defence to Holroyd. That's a good long pass to Alan Tate. Now then, Tate decides to come back inside. Perhaps should have kept on the outside there, but it still Leeds on the attack. On that 5th tackle, Hanley. Schofield taking his time, decides what to do to Loaves. A kick easily read by Darren Hughes, and I think perhaps if we have another look at that try eventually, we might have another viewpoint. Gibson coming away. Sutherwood. Ikram Butt once again keeping that ball moving. Good play here by Featherstone Rovers. But here's that try again, Joe.
Well, Kevin Iro did lose the ball, but did he get his hand on top of it and apply downward pressure? I think he did. The ball did go forward.
Went forward. He lost control of it and hit the ground as he's putting his hand on it. Definitely a knock on.
Yes, I think it hit the ground first, Joe. Anyway, it's what the referee decides, and he decided no try. Aston. Tutor. Good spell of play here from Rovers. Daniel Devey to Neil Roebuck. Nicely flicked back by Carl Gibson. Alan Tate is there, but offside. Steve Malloy just looking for favours from referee Campbell, but he won't get any. Ikram Butt adjudged to be offside there when the kick was made.
The last 2 kicks they've had in Leeds 22 area, Featherstone, have been ordinary kicks. They've got to pick up their kicking game and put pressure on Leeds.
Neil Harmon slipped back inside to Faimalo. Faimalo, the sort of forward who likes to run out wide, likes space. Mercer. Good tackling by Rovers in midfield. Malloy setting the example. Schofield again. Gets it back to Harmon, to Alan Tate. Oh, Alan Tate, and nice shimmy there. Now then Tate, he's got Hanley inside him. Valerie Hanley. Can he fend up Carl Gibson? Well, it's not a try. Gibson did very, very well there to push Hanley into touching goal. He hit the corner flag. Touch judge Mr. Hewitt was right on the spot, and this is the 2nd try gone begging for Leeds. Well, did he get that one down?
I think he was out. I think it was a good decision that the touch judge was on the spot, but I think Ellery tried to do too much himself. Then he had players on the inside. They had 3 players to 2, and he tried to go all the way himself.
The ruling here is if the player hits the post, the flagpole, whatever you want to call it, before he grounds the ball, then it's in touch. I think he actually put that ball down.
It appeared to me as if he put it down, Joe, but very, very difficult decision for the touch judge. But Leo Casey in the blood bin, Joe Nadoli on the field. And certainly Leeds have missed 2 chances. 23 points to 10. Those 2 tries could have really taken Leeds away from Featherstone Rovers. Daniel Devey looking for an opening in midfield, and Joe Nadoli, the Fijian forward, he's looking for a place in the World Cup squad for Fiji this coming October. McCallum attempts a kick and chase, but Alan Tate is there.
What I was saying before, that kick then from Cullen was just for himself. No one else knew he was going to do that, and you must have your kicking game that your team knows what you're doing.
You think Featherstone would be better advised to put some high kicks, Joe?
Well, they've already scored off one of them. Aston had his kicking boots on for the first try, kicked a great kick, so I don't see why they shouldn't try and use it again. But as Steve mentioned, it's okay having a kick, but you've got to have the support there, the chase there, and your teammates have got to know exactly what you're doing.
That looked like a knock-on, and it was. I don't think Ellery Hanley was expecting that ball. I think really the pass here from James Lawes was intended for Schofield to run onto. Hanley interfering, and a knock-on.
It's a good example that there, when we've seen that replay, that even though Ellery Hanley was facing his own goal line, the ball was actually propelled towards the opposition goal line, and it was a knock-on.
Either to Nadoli. Nadoli on loan to the Featherstone club from Huddersfield for the rest of the season. Oh, Dive again, stealing down that blind side. Rovers moving it about now. Tuuta and Aston in midfield. Switch inside to McCallan. Callan again, he's got some support out there. Good tackle. Well looked after by number 4 for Leeds, Craig Innes. Dive again. Suddenly come into this game as the big, tall French chest second row. Short pass. Nearly worked. Good pressure from Rovers. Southernwood, little chip through, didn't quite come off. Gary Schofield, he got the ball very well to Kevin Iro.
Once again, Ray, a poor kick from Featherstone. They're not putting Leeds under any pressure whatsoever.
Schofield sensibly grinning there, just electing to hold the ball. Leeds are in the lead. Clear 13-point margin. Innes beats his man well down that far side. And another man. Good centre play there from Craig Innes. Holroyd across this Leeds line now. Schofield again. Well, he was looking to bring Alan Tate on the short pass. Well read by Gary Price. Good tackle. Iro. Wrong foot, Sir Callan. Just couldn't get the ball inside to Jim Fallon, but Callan recovered himself well. Good tackle there out wide. Holroyd. And there is the high kick that we were talking about. It's a tester, but well taken. Well taken by Roger. The Kiwi from Canterbury. He's taken a knock as well.
He's taken a knock, and Daniel Duvet is also down.
Callan. And there we see Brett Roger. Gibson having to fill in the position where Brett Roger would normally be on that right centre.
Well done.
Tuuta. Oh, slipped his man well. Marcus Vasilakopoulos there, number 14, the substitute, was clamping that ball. Tuuta couldn't get that ball away to launch Gibson down the wing. This is Cummins. Oh, Alan Tate again, using the pace and the sidestep.
Ellery Hanley was there waiting to back up. He'd been offside for 2 plays, Ellery Hanley, and if Alan Tate had kept going there, Ellery would have got the ball and scored from an offside position.
Mark Nixon, another Kiwi coming on, and his fellow countryman, Brett Roger. Leeds with a sequence of 6 tackles here now. Faimalo to Schofield. Oh, good play by Holroyd. He's got Gary Schofield with him, but I think he'll go himself. Oh, tremendous solo effort from the youngster. The defence just seemed to open up in front of him. I don't think he could believe what was happening. Schofield was in support, but Holroyd had no need of it. He grabs his 9th of the season, and didn't he make it look simple?
He did. There was absolutely nothing on when he got this ball. Play had halted. Gary Schofield was turned the wrong way. Holroyd starts from a standing start. 2 beautiful steps into the space, and his pace takes him to the line.
There's good individual skills here from Holroyd. Steps off his left foot, sees a hole there. Now Joe Nadioli, if he had to try to tackle Holroyd instead of pulling Ellery Hanley out of play, he may have got the Holroyd, but it was a good individual effort.
Here he is with the kick. One of a dozen top full-time apprentices with the Headingley club. Graham Holroyd. Certainly a big influence in this match. He comes in, swings that left foot and swings the ball between the uprights. The conversion then from the Leeds half-back and taking Leeds out even further. 29 points to 10.
Holroyd gets the ball, stood absolutely flat-footed and sets off with the blistering pace off the mark. 2 good side steps into the gap and cruises to the line from then on, and it's third time lucky as far as Leeds are concerned. They've had 2 tries to slay in this second half. That third one was definitely a try and 4 points.
Gary Mercer. I think we mentioned, Joe, the difference in pace probably between the two sides, but I mean, I think we must, in fairness to Rovers, mention that Owen Simpson, Martin Pearson and Chris Bibb, players who have pace, have been missing for the majority of the season.
That's the importance of having depth in your squad, players that can cover various positions, and as you say, Featherstone have been very unlucky with injuries.
In between the try and the conversion, Richie Ayres, the Leeds forward, just got off the bench to try his left foot. He went about 4 or 5 paces, turned around very quickly and made a dismissive gesture to the Leeds bench, which suggests that Richie Ayres will play no further part in this game.
And I don't somehow think that Leeds will need Richie Ayres in this final quarter. Gibson with his eye on the ball, never took his eye off it. Excellent full-back play there from Carl Gibson. Aaron Hughes. Steve Malloy trying to rally the troops. Neil Roebuck to Nixon. Taluta, that's a good variety. Well picked up again by Alan Tate. What a good game this Scottish full-back is having. Leeds have a good tradition of Scotsmen. I can remember Ronnie Cowan and Drew Turnbull, and this man continuing their traditions. Mercer to Iro. Leeds really moving this ball around. Iro sprinting for the line. He's got Hanley again. Tries the dummy to Jim Fallon. Fallon back inside to Ellery Hanley. And there is another try for Ellery Hanley. Congratulations from Gary Schofield. Wonderful support play from the 34 years old Leeds skipper and Great Britain coach. His 40th try of the season, and he equals the world record for tries in a season. 40 set in 1970-71 by former Leeds second row Bob Haig.
You see from deep in their own territory, you see it's a great ball inside to Iro. Now he's a powerful runner. Now he looks, he sees he's got Ellery Hanley inside. He can't get it to him. Jim Fallon backs up. He's being tackled there. Ellery Hanley backing up again to score a great Leeds try.
Ellery Hanley continues to set the records. Graham Holroyd had plenty of practice at these posts, but not a good kick this time. But nevertheless, I don't think he'll be too concerned. Leeds 33, Featherstone Rovers 10. And Hanley showing once again what a master in support play he is, Joe.
Yet another full-length try. Iro, couple of steps, opens the legs out and really powers down the field. Looks inside to try and find Hanley. You know he's going to be there. Pulls the ball up to Fallon. And eventually Ellery Hanley gets the ball.
And Hanley moving into the real top of the all-time try scorers. Overtaking now Al Fellaby, Eric Batten and Lionel Cooper, great wingmen. Hanley, of course, once a centre, once a stand-off. The last 7 or 8 seasons at loose forward. powerful drive there from Neil Harmon. Innes. These two Kiwi centres, Innes and Iro, causing a lot of damage now, Steve.
They are. They're both big and powerful, and they've both got a lot of pace, and they're very hard to contain. And as we said before, Leeds scored the last try on the left-hand side.
Tempers rising there. James Law's not very happy, neither is Gary Schofield at incidents here. Oh, and almost a spear tackle, Joe Nadoli and Southernwood picking that Leeds player up, and dumping him down. That's very dangerous tackle, Joe.
Yes, it is. Any player that's, tipped onto his head could cause serious damage, and that was a spear tackle.
Even though it didn't look dangerous, it wasn't. The intent was there. As soon as you get your arm between the legs of another player, you're trying to do damage to them. And there should be a rule where that could be an automatic send-off when you do that, because he did try to lift him up and spear him on.
And again, Mr. Campbell calling the two officials together and the two captains. Again, the arms crossed above the head. The incident is being placed on report, although personally I think it may have warranted a sending off. Definitely a spear tackle, in my opinion. Neil Harmon charging in.
That was possibly frustration. There was still no excuse, but I'm sure now Leeds will look to punish Featherstone, if not by being a man short for that offence, by a try.
Gary Schofield switching to that blind side. Mercer. Just 10 metres now from this Featherstone line. A lost ball. Well picked up by Graham Southernwood. Gibson. Shouldn't really be running across the face of the posts. But I think one or two of these Featherstone forwards needing a rest now. Daniel Devey summoning up some last reserves of energy. The final quarter, 20 minutes remaining. Leeds 33, Featherstone 10. Joe Nadoli. Well taken by Butts. He's had a good game, this wingman. He's very similar in style to Jason Robinson at your club, Wigan, Joe.
He is. He gets low to the ground, uses his power well, and even when the tackler, or the would-be tackler, thinks he's got hold of him, he has the power to push him off and go again.
Their legs just keep pumping all the time. Their legs never stop going.
Alan Tate feeling the kick once again and showing his class, beating three men. Excellent play by the former Kelso lad. Signed by Doug Lawton from Widnes. Jim Pollen momentarily taking his eye off the ball, and no need for this. Fallon obviously frustrated at losing that ball. Just losing himself temporarily, Fallon. No need for that at all.
You'll see here, Jim Fallon, he loses the ball. Yeah, Roebuck's come over the top there, little late there, and Fallon has taken exception to that. I don't know if it's a good idea for Mr. Campbell to get involved in that.
Well, I think rightly so by the referee. He sent the two of them to the sin bin. Neil Roebuck alleged to have struck out at Fallon, and Fallon replying. I think a good decision there by Mr. Campbell, settling tempers down, sorting matters out. We've had some excellent rugby so far. Mr. Campbell telling both sides to cut out the rust up. Carl Gibson shooting down the gap there. Mark Nixon. A stray pass. Jim Fallon spending his 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Richie Ayres, unless Featherstone have got something we haven't seen yet, you'll be thinking about Wigan now, will you?
Yeah, obviously, you know, they've put up a spirited performance, but, you know, the lads have stuck to the challenge and we've come through on top.
Yeah. Will you be thinking about Wigan?
Not yet, you know, we've got a game on Tuesday and Friday and we take every game as it comes, you know. Obviously, it's a big game and it's going to be a great game for rugby league.
But it'll be very nice, I expect, from your point of view, to get back to Wembley again so quickly.
Yeah, it's the third time and hopefully I can go there and get a win. But as I said before, we want to continue and get a good place in this Premiership and hopefully finish second in it.
Thanks, Richie.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Craig Innes just trying to work his way down that left-hand touchline. Neil Harmon had a good game since he come on as substitute. Oh, had a good pass there to Alan Tate. Can't get the ball away. And a knock on. Alan Tate looking for one pass too many as Harvey Howard is being put back. Or is he?
It's a good tackle over the top here from Matt Cullen. Gets him around the ball area there, and Alan Tate knocks on.
Gary Mercer gone out onto the right wing in place of Jim Fallon. Mercer, of course, started his career as a wing in New Zealand. Nadoli. Plenty of pace as this Fijian forward. Tauta. As Steve Malloy inside. Gary Price couldn't quite hold that. You think one or two of these forwards are getting tired, Joe, now?
I think the game's getting scrappy in a few ways, mainly because Leeds have probably eased off with the scoreline and Featherstone are trying to force passes that they wouldn't normally do. So the game has become a little bit scrappy, but still very entertaining.
You see the handling errors there. Six to Leeds for the Featherstone. I think the first half there's probably only 4 between the two teams.
But of course Featherstone have got to force the ball now. They've got to score points, haven't they? But here is that powerhouse again down the inside. Kevin Iro puts the little rubber kick in. I think he would have been better to have held onto the ball. In fact, Ellery Hanley was holding his arms out. He said, look, why didn't you give it to me? Hanley fancied a hat-trick.
I think you'll find that inside Ellery Hanley's actually telling him to kick the ball. Ellery's telling him to kick, they are, but Ellery never noticed he had 2 men outside himself. He should have used the ball inside to Ellery. Ellery could offload it to someone else inside.
A let-off for Rovers. Carl Gibson refuses to lie down, coming away with that ball.
The final Ellery Hanley, he won't have been telling him to kick it, he'll be telling him to go and then pass it to Ellery. Ellery were on that third try, as you said, Ray.
Nadoli. Harvey Howard. Marlow. The coach is spelling the forwards. Very hard, very powerful game up front in rugby league for a forward. A good pass. Matt Callan now then, he's got Hughes inside. Oh, he beats Sir Holroyd. Good play here from the wingman. Excellent play. Rovers on the attack. Nixon to Aston. Good ball to Malloy. He's got Nadoli outside. Chooses to Aston. Carl Gibson. And relaxed. That will be Leeds scrum down. Leeds head and ball. From this knock-on. Nothing going right for Rovers at the moment. The referee, Dave Campbell, holding the packs, keeping them away, just settling things down. He's quietening affairs up front with the sin binning of Roebuck and Fallon. Second line of defence. There was no sweeper. Once Alan Tate had used that sidestep, he was clean through, and he has the pace to finish off. 37-10 for Leeds. Excellent example on attack. Alan Tate.
This is a sidestep. The ball is played quite quickly. Gary Schofield, Alan Tate screaming for this ball. Hits it at pace and would just watch the step, boom. Dive's flat-footed, he's gone, and he's got the pace to go all the way. That's a great sidestep and a great try.
And here we see striding out for the 4 points.
Well deserved too, when you say, Steve. Alan Tate's had a great game all round.
He has had a great game, and Featherston's downfall then was that Carl Gibson made the tackle from the scrum. He was at the marker area, and no one dropped back in cover defence.
Graham Holroyd accepts the 2 points. A simple conversion from the youngster. Leeds coasting now, 39 points to 10, comfortably in charge and looking to be on the way to Wembley. And I'm sure with tries like this, they really are fit to grace Wembley. He puts his head back, he looks for any defenders, he sees that Ikram Butt is chasing, but Tate has the pace to go all the way. Schofield. Mercer. Leeds just settled it down again, letting these forwards enjoy themselves in the middle. Harvey Howard on a run there. Just 10 minutes remaining. Leeds comfortably in charge, 39-10. Harmon having a drive. Featherstone visibly tiring up front. Schofield. Little chip through, no obstruction. The players don't have to move out of the way. The onus is on the kicker to run around. Oh, a good run by Carl Gibson down the touchline. Tate is coming across. Wonderful tackle. Wonderful tackle from Alan Tate. And recognition there, I think, from Alan Tate of Carl Gibson's attack. Great sportsmanship. Great play on both. Just nipped at the corner. Wonderful effort from Carl Gibson, and what a good game he's had, Steve.
He has had a good game, and he picked that well because Jim Fallon's in the sin bin, and it was Gary Mercer that was out the wing, and he run around Gary quite easy.
Eminairo looking to burst his way down the middle. Not this time. Picked up by Butt. Rovers again with a chance. To Naidoli. Well, offside. Mr. Campbell played advantage. Offside, another 6 tackles for Featherstone Rovers. Aston, short pass to Malloy. Looks for the support. Danny Dive is there. And Daniel Dive will score. Well, that's no more than Featherstone Rovers have deserved. They've taken a hammering at the other end, but they've shown the spirit, they've shown the courage to roar back at Leeds, and that was a good try. They tested them twice at either corner. The gap came in the middle, and Dive accepted it.
Yeah, Brendan Tudor offloads here to Mark Aston. Great little ball to Steve Malloy, and he offloads in the tackle, going down the ground. Good offload, and Daniel Dive finishes off for a good, easy try.
And the conversion from Mark Aston. No trouble from the former Sheffield Eagles half-back. So, reply from Featherstone Rovers, 39 points to 16. But possibly a little late, Joe.
Yeah, Dive might have his name on the score sheet, but it was Steve Malloy, beautiful ball, as he was going down the tackle, just popped it up to Dive to score the try.
David Ward wasn't too far wrong in his prediction. There's been over 50 points scored in this game.
Nadoli. Jim Fallon returning from the sin bin. He'll be accompanied by Neil Roebuck, and there he is. The Rovers loose forward. But and what, just 7 minutes remaining, Joe. Leeds, I think, now obviously at Wembley. How do you fancy this game with Wigan?
Obviously it'll be a very, very interesting game. In my opinion, 2 good sides, and just to finally get into Wembley, it'll be a great game, I'm sure, a spectacle as is hoped.
Steve, you had a win over Wigan in the Championship, a rare event on Wednesday with Halifax. How do you see it?
It is a rare event to beat Wigan, but I think Wigan will be too good for Leeds on the day, and I'll be a little bit more committal than Joe was.
Well, Steve, you've stuck your neck out. We'll find out in a month's time. Jim Fallon, good run down the middle. Lowe's, Schofield looking to find Craig Innes. He does. Innes will now check that ball across to Cummins. And suddenly the pace drops, I think, as players really tired. Been a lot of running, a lot of tries, a lot of good play. Innes. Cummins. Be well looked after on that right-hand side. James Lowe's forcing his way through on the 5th tackle. Just over that 20-metre line. Hanley. Penalty. I think Ellery Hanley played for that penalty, Steve, there from the acting half-back position.
He did. He knew the markers were offside. They weren't standing square, and he was either going to keep going forward. As you'll see here, they're slow up off the ground. There's no markers. Tudor's the only one. Roebuck standing in an offside position makes the tackle, and they get a penalty.
But we're back in play with Kevin Iro trying to step out of Mark Aston. He can't do so, but he gets that ball to Alan Tate. Tate with that master sidestep. Loses the ball. Picked up by Callan. Alan Tate judged the man of the match. I don't think I would have any disagreement with that.
No, me neither. His all-round game's been superb. His defence, coming tackles as he's shown on Carl Gibson, and attacking as well, scoring a try. He's had a fantastic game.
Gary Price. 116, 127. Not a tremendous number of tackles made, Joe. It just shows the amount of running we've had.
That's right, yeah. There's been some great home play. There was a bit of a fisticuffs on the field there, but the referees let the game flow.
And Alan Tate, the man of the match, I would think that Carl Gibson, has had a good game. Well, Harvey Howard and Malloy just running into each other.
Well, I wouldn't like him to run to me like
Nothing
that.
too serious. The sun's shining down here at Ellen Road on Leeds. Ellery Hanley still probing, still looking for an opening. Mercer. Kevin Iro. Once again we find these two big Kiwi centres. Iro loses the ball. Picked up by Nadoli. Nadoli going for that corner. Cummins is with him. Glorious tackle. Harman got across, and did he pull Nadoli by the ankle then? I think he did. Here's a chance now again to Featherstone Rovers. They've got 4 men outside. Dive. Oh, excellent tackle by Jim Fallon there. He came in from the wing. He stopped to form and overlap, did the big wingman. Featherstone Rovers should have scored.
Yeah, you see, Sutherwood held on to the ball too long. He should have offloaded straight away. He put Daniel Dive under pressure. You'll see here, he held on to the ball too long, run too far with it, and the outcome was that they lost the football.
Jim Fallon. By Marlowe.
Leave him, lads, leave him!
Leeds. Oh, that looked a forward pass. I think Leeds are already playing for the final whistle, Joe.
Yes, I think they've just slacked off now. Although, having said that, they definitely don't want Featherstone to score again, as was shown by that great tackle by Jim Fallon.
But Featherstone Rovers, Matt Callan still continuing to put the tackles in. Harman testing them out again, but Sutherwood will not be knocked off. It's 66 years since the cup final was taken to Wembley, and the same teams have never faced each other in successive years. At last they do so. Leeds looking likely to meet Wigan. The top two teams in this season's championship set for a showdown at Wembley. Play on, says referee Mr. Campbell, and it's Mark Nixon trying to run the length of the field. Vasilakopoulos is with him, and Vasilakopoulos catches him. Good run from the Leeds substitute. Aston, back to Naidoli. He's ran well since he came on. Yanni Dive gets the ball to Callan. Callan looks for the support. Back inside to Brendan Tawuta. Tawuta back there to Graham Sutherland. Wonderful support play, and that's testimony to the fitness of this Featherstone Rovers side. They've been on the floor, and yet in the dying minutes they can mount an attack like that, and they can put a try in like that. Wonderful rugby.
There's tired legs out there, but Featherstone attack probably for the last time. Bit of a loose pass. Dive picks it up, flicks the ball out. And again, Featherstone refusing to let the ball die. Tuta goes for the corner, again throws it back inside, and there's Sutherland to score the try.
Yeah, you've got nothing to lose. You're down. Tuta's nearly forced out, passes the ball back inside to Sutherland, who's on the spot and over for a try.
Certainly Featherstone Rovers may be defeated and Leeds may be moving on to Wembley, but I think Rugby League has been the winner here this afternoon with rugby like that. Oh, and kicking like that from Mark Aston. Defiance in this Rovers side. 39 points to 22. An afternoon of glorious tries. None better than this one. It looked a loose pass. Dive took it well. Callan was on hand. So was Tawuta here. He moved around the back very, very nicely. And there's the hooker, Sutherland, ready, waiting to pounce. I'm sure tickets for Wembley will be in short supply for this showdown between Wigan and Leeds. And there is the final hooter. Disappointment on Sutherland's face, but joy on Leeds' Boston Lawton's face as Leeds return for their 16th final. No doubt determined to go one better